Hey guys, hope you're all having a wonderful day today. If you've just recently discovered this channel's existence, welcome. If not, then I welcome you back anyway. Today's video is going to be a little different in discussion and more serious than usual. To begin, I want to start with a story about myself. Back when I was 10 years old, I was given my first ever phone. It wasn't a cell phone, just a flip phone that was primarily used to send text messages and make calls. Needless to say, I was ecstatic. I absolutely loved my flip phone and enjoyed every feature it had to offer me. It wasn't until a year or two later that I was finally given my first ever actual cell phone. I was even more excited when I was allowed to upgrade. It wasn't until sometime in middle school that I finally discovered what the internet was. Yeah, I know, pretty late start. Now let me be clear. I knew what apps were on an iPad, and I knew my mom had access to the internet too. But I didn't realize at the time until my friend showed me that I could also access the internet, along with everyone else. The first thing I automatically discovered was YouTube, since I mostly knew YouTube from the YouTube Kids app, which was on an iPad that we used to have. My mom trusted me on the internet, knowing I wasn't the kind of kid that got into anything inappropriate, and she was right for the most part. Even if I did discover something bad, I'd usually just end up telling her about it and apologize for finding it in the first place, and she would just tell me to never look at whatever it was I saw ever again. That was pretty much the end of that. And just for some quick reference, my definition of inappropriate back then was just stuff that might have contained some gore or some mild language. So nothing really all that bad. Now, jump a few years all the way to 2020. The COVID pandemic. That year, being quarantined, gave me a whole lot more time to look things up and discover things on the internet. I had been a part of a few different fandoms during that time, and still am, sort of, for a while. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, Power Rangers, Kirby, Five Nights at Freddy's, any really popular franchise you could probably think of at that time I was in. The newest fandom I ended up discovering that year was the Undertale fandom. Yippee! Yeah, I know, I was pretty late to the party. Anyway, after doing a bit of my own personal research, I did discover the obvious differences between the canon game and, of course, the fan and stuff you might find online. That isn't, canon to the actual game itself. Now, having just discovered a new fandom and being bored out of my mind led me to start daydreaming a little. Soon enough, those daydreams became actual dreams, and those actual dreams sparked an idea for a story in my mind. That story, well, it was fanfiction. I didn't know the term fanfiction at the time until a little bit later during the year of 2020, but nonetheless, I got to writing. My idea for an Undertale fanfiction that I had in my head for a while was a what-if scenario of if the game's main premise took place during the medieval era. Yeah, I know, it wasn't entirely an original idea, but it was the one I had that had came to my mind, during that time. Plus, I'd like to think that my concept of the idea was original, and I still like to think that to this day. I named the AU I had created in my mind Kingdom Tale, and throughout the rest of my middle school years and my first 2 years of high school, I wrote every idea down that came to mind until I started to form my collective and cohesive story. Eventually, I finished writing Kingdom Tale completely. Jumping to today, I have just about figured out now how to use AO3, a website dedicated to posting fanfiction. I originally had all of Kingdom Tale posted when I had first started using it. However, having had the time to reflect on myself and how I've grown as a writer, I made the ultimate decision to take the original works down and decided to rewrite Kingdom Tale completely from the bottom up. My middle school writing is cute, don't get me wrong, I love looking back at it. But there were a lot of parts that I realized needed much more work or could have been written better in general. I apologize if any of you watching this video now had seen the original works and discovered them to be taken down. It was my decision to do so, and I hope you all can respect that choice I've made. As of now, I'm working hard on my improved rewrite of this fanfiction, and have 3 chapters out as of right now. I will slowly be posting more, but I will be taking my time on this rewrite, so I wouldn't expect too much to come out all at once. The last thing I want to announce is my latest fanfiction project that I've been recently working on. You see, the latest fandom I've been into recently is The Amazing Digital Circus by Gooseworks and Glitch Productions. The title for this fic is called I Am All Mouth and I Can't Scream. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that the title was inspired by the short story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. It's a great read, by the way. You should go take a look at that short story. It is fantastic. If you're into kind of like sci-fi, I want to say horror-ish, if that's even correct. If you're into dystopian, you'll really like it. So far, I'm really enjoying this one that I'm writing, so you should go check it out. I'll paste a link for it in the description below, as well as a link for Kingdom Tale 2, so I will be posting links to both of my fanfiction projects that I have been working on so far. With all of that finally out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't usually do this at the end of my videos, but my goal as of right now is to hit 20 subscribers. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and consider hitting that subscribe button. I don't obligate people to subscribe, but I do have a 20 subscriber video that I plan to make if I do reach the goal. I also will link another channel that I recommend you all go check out as well, down in the description of this video. This person, he makes great content and also has a special video planned in the works, so keep an eye out for it. With all that said, thanks for watching.